The most important thing we need to do while talking about this topic is to first acknowledge that Tiger Shroff is Ahan Shetty's senior. So he's already a superstar in his own right. So this comparison is just a comparison of how each of them debuted, how their first film was, and where do we see both of their future going, and really who had a bigger impact on me personally in their debut, and let's just say as of today. So let's get right into it. Ahan Shetty's new movie Tadap, his first movie released. I watched it. I actually enjoyed it. I have not watched RX 100 and I know that it is not a perfect remake. I will definitely check that out as well. However, it is a much better movie than I expected, Tadap, and it definitely entertained me fairly well, and I would call it a standard 3 out of 5 star movie. So let's get into why I like the movie, especially because of Ahan Shetty's performance as a debutant. He really seems and comes across like a humble, grounded, simple human being that is here to focus on his art, to focus on the movies, to focus on the character and deliver as best as possible. He is far from perfect. He is far from a stunning debut like Ranveer Singh, for example, or a stunning career start like Ranbir Kapoor. He's far from that level of talent and expertise in his craft. However, you can clearly tell that he's way ahead of many others who we don't even need to name right now. And he is done a very good job for a first film. Every actor has certain weaknesses, certain strengths, and there are certain very little weaknesses here and there for Ahan Shetty. However, I have no doubt that based on this performance, he will grow incredibly as an actor. Switching gears real quick to Tiger Shroff, when he released Hero Panti, the movie did well, the movie was entertaining, and we all were very happy to see a different kind of action, different kind of dance, very good talent in those areas, and an entertaining performance that worked. However, on the acting front, it wasn't really a big debut for Tiger Shroff, and ever since then, although there is definite improvement, the focus still remains on Tiger being an action and dance superstar who especially also gets along for the kids to like him, and not so much as a great performer. That does not mean that Tiger Shroff does not act well. I think he is also a very humble human being. We've seen that. He's a very kind and genuine person, and he does perform to a certain extent which works for his kind of movies, and that is very smart selection of movies where the performance works in line with his personality, his character, the action, the staging. It all works, but he's never even today known as one of the best actors of the industry. He's known as a dance and action superstar that does crazy entertaining films in those areas. So that being said, I do think Ahan Shetty currently is a stronger actor and a performer, but Tiger Shroff is better in the action and dance area. It's at a level that's too high for a lot of people to even compete with. That being said, it is going to be very interesting to see where Ahan Shetty's career progresses, because Tadap is a one-of-a-kind film about, an action. There are some action elements. It's a romantic film. It's more on the Kabir Singh sort of line, and we've seen with someone like Vijay Deverakonda in the South who did Arjun Reddy, he got a little typecast in those kind of films 2, 3, 4 times. The sort of passionate lover and this crazy sort of hot head sometimes and aggressive behavior. He got sort of typecast there and is still sort of trying to do different projects and get out of that mold, that bad boy image, or that sort of image of whatever you want to call it. And so it is going to be interesting because Ahan Shetty is not inherently that vibe. This movie had that vibe. So his real test of time will start on the second movie, the third movie, the fourth movie. See what choices he's making, see what kind of films he's making. We've seen countless times that people are very good in their debut, but they either get typecast, so they do same kind of movie and audience does not enjoy it, or they want to do something extremely different and they just don't have that talent or that particular skill set to execute it perfectly, and maybe the project choice itself doesn't work out. So it's going to be extremely interesting, and I'm personally going to follow closely the choices Ahan Shetty makes, because the debut was very promising. He has such a good screen presence. His screen presence is very much larger than Tiger Shroff's debut. It was such a huge sort of, you feel like even before seeing his movie, when he entered, you feel like you saw a star on screen. You feel like you saw a great personality on screen. I'm curious to see if Ahan Shetty follows the angry young man or the passionate lover path going forward, or if he executes in a different area equally well. And of course, we all are going to follow Tiger Shroff's career as we have been, with some of his sequels coming out. Some of the new franchises that he's created continue to be successful. But I also want to see Tiger Shroff in more movies like War, for example, which is something different than his Baghi or Hero Panti and things like that, and do something a little different with a little more character development, and see that how that journey works as well. Tiger Shroff is yet to come in something like a typical drama or a typical thriller, with devoid of action, devoid of dance. He's still to do those kind of projects, so he's playing on his strengths, as most people should. But for Tiger Shroff, I expect to see some of that change. And for Ahan Shetty, I'm just curious to see what kind of movies he does next. Let me know your guys' thoughts on what you think about Ahan Shetty and what I call a stellar debut in Tadap, and what you expect from him in the future, as well as your thoughts on Tiger Shroff, because I'm sure some of you are die-hard Tiger Shroff fans and are wondering what I'm trying to compare here. So leave your thoughts below, like, comment, share, subscribe to this channel, and keep watching for much more.